In this lesson, I am going to teach you something called the anticipation technique. And this technique is really cool because it actually helps you do multiple things at the same time. Meaning, we're going to help you develop multiple skills while doing one activity, which is a really great way to learn faster. So in this case, you have just finished studying the transcription in the last lesson, and now you're familiar with the story. You know what you're going to hear in the audio, or at least you have an idea about what you're going to hear. For the intermediate students, there are definitely new words that you've learned in this transcription when you were studying it, and now what's going to happen is your mind is going to help you to comprehend the meaning of those new words that you kind of know the meaning of, but they're still a little bit unclear for you. And this is how it works. As you're listening to the audio, your mind knows what to expect already. And all of a sudden, you're going to hear a word that is like, what does that mean? What does that mean? I just learned that word. And because you already know the story and the meaning of what we're saying and what we're explaining, that word is going to feel like it makes sense because it's being used in context. So the knowledge of the story is actually going to help you to make more sense of this word and be able to recognize it when you hear it. Another thing that this activity is doing is it's helping you to review that new vocabulary that you just learned. Instead of having to memorize a list of words to review that vocabulary, now you're able to do that by listening. If you're really confused when you're listening to the audio and you can't remember what that word is, it's okay to stop and look up the meaning again. That's fine. You won't be able to remember every word that you hear. But knowing this story is certainly going to help you to understand more and to help you remember the meaning of those new words that you just learned. Now, it's also going to help you with listening comprehension. Listening comprehension is when you hear the words and the grammar and verbs and everything together, and it actually makes sense. So again, knowing this story that you're hearing and listening to the audio and having an expectation of what you're going to hear is going to help you to improve your level of listening comprehension. You can try listening to a new audio and see the difference between how much you understand when you've already read the transcript and learned all of the words that you needed to learn from that audio versus listening to something that you're hearing for the very first time. So this is the anticipation technique and how it works. It's a really good way to review new vocabulary and to really develop an understanding of that vocabulary being used properly in context. The next time that you hear that word being used in a different type of context or a different conversation, you're going to know the meaning of that word a lot faster and a lot easier.